How's it going? What's going on, Money Ballers? This is Oscar Moneyball bringing you the best data, match simulation, match prediction, whatever you want to call it, projections for the match week 22 of the Eredivisie. I'm super excited to bring this content to you because I put a lot of work into these spreadsheets, collect a lot of data, take time out of my day, and try to create these videos for you, trying to get into this consistency of showcasing the results that my match simulator is providing me for all of you. I was never able to find content like this on the internet, on YouTube, Twitter, whatever. It was mostly just posts of, friends that post their results on a picture, don't talk about the data, or, I like to listen to this stuff while I'm driving or, I'm running or something like that, and was never able to find something like this. So I figured there was an opportunity for me to get in front of this camera and share with you guys what I like to do, share with you guys the data I've been collecting for this season. And I'm super excited to, as you guys can maybe see, I have a new setup. I think I mentioned that in some of the other videos. I've been working around with OBS, creating this nice little setup for all of us to enjoy. But let's get straight to the video. We got some matches. We got 9 matches this weekend, starting on Friday, going on to Sunday. The Eredivisie seems to be very consistent from what I see. One thing I do want you guys to notice or note, if you guys are interested in the Eredivisie, is that ties in this league are very consistent. It's very hard to get a winner and a loser. It's always, not always, but there's a lot of ties. When I was collecting this data, I noticed that, and it stuck out, made me curious. Well, let's get this thing going. Again, let me just make sure this is working. Alright, we're here, we're live. This is a spreadsheet. Let's talk about some of my favorite games this weekend. We'll start with the first match of the Friday slate. And sorry if I'm butchering these names, but we'll have some practice. FC Volendam versus NEC. We see here that the expected goals for this match are 1.4 to 2.0, all in favor for the away team. Win probability, same thing, in favor for the away team with the 48%, leaving a lot of margin for that tie. The over 0.5, you can see here that we're expecting, this is a high probability for goals for both teams. I think if both teams to score would be an entertaining bet. The away team does seem to have the edge with 82%, and the over 1.5 for both teams dramatically drops for 40% and 55%. The next match we see here is Go Ahead Eagles versus RKC Wałbrzych. Sorry. 2.3 versus 1.0. Win probability is 63% in favor for Go Ahead Eagles versus a 16% for the away team. Over 0.5 is 87% for Go Ahead Eagles. And the over 1.5 is also very high, 64% versus 26% for the home team. Match number 3, one of my favorite teams, they seem to get some positive results, is the away team FC Twente versus Vitesse. Vitesse at home, Vitesse. Sorry, again, gotta learn these names. 0.6 expected goals versus 1.9 expected goals. The win probability is kind of low on both of these. I think the margin for the tie is consistent. It's open. Vitesse is a team that I do believe they will get relegated if they're in the lower end of the table. And Twente is just a very strong team. They play European soccer, I believe, and they've been very consistent this season. We see here that the over 0.5 is in favor of the away team, 84% versus 43% for the home team, and the over 1.5 is 13% versus 55% for the away team. Next match is Sparta Rotterdam versus AZ Alkmaar. And we see here that the expected goals is 0.9 versus 1.6. Win probability is in favor for the away team. Seems like it's the away team for both of these matches tend to have the edge here. Win probability is 53 versus 22. Over 0.5 is 79% versus 59%. Over 1.5 is 48% versus 24%. Again, all in favor for the away team. My team, Ajax. We have them home versus FC Utrecht. Expected goals for this match, 1.7 versus 1.0. Win probability for Ajax is 53 versus 21%. Over 0.5 goals is at 79% versus 60%. Over 1.5 is 48% versus 24%. Ajax at home, that over 1.5 seems to be like a very good bet. I think it's a strong bet, especially because for I believe the past 2 to 3 games, Ajax hasn't been able to get a positive result. They did get that tie versus PSV at home. FC Utrecht is a team that isn't that strong. Ajax need to get their things together and get back on getting some points here. They're gonna start trailing they're gonna start trailing by a lot if they don't get this positive result. So Ajax need to come out and do really good. They did really good versus that Norway team in the Europa League. Yeah, I think it was the Europa League. They did really good holding them off, advancing to the next round. It was an entertaining match. I knew that thing was going to be entertaining for sure. So moving on to the next game, we have the highlight for this league, PSV versus Feyenoord. We have here the PSV with the advantage, and the expected goal is 1.5 versus 1.1 in favor of Feyenoord. In favor of PSV. Win probability is 47% versus 27%. The over 0.5 is 77% versus 64%. And the over 1.5 is 44% versus 30%. PSV, I know I'm an Ajax fan, but PSV this season, when I was collecting this data, I noticed their consistency. And I noticed how Feyenoord is, they lost some games or tied some games where you really expected them to get all 3 points, and they're leaving points behind along the way. Meanwhile, PSV is just collecting. They have depth. They have a really good away and home form. Offensively, they're strong. Defensively, they're solid. They can rotate players. They're competing in the Champions League. Entertaining to watch at all levels. We have Chucky Lozano if you're a Mexican fan. We have Pepe. We have Tillman. We have Des if you're a US fan. We have De Jong, who's just tearing it up. Something that isn't talked about is how Jimenez and De Jong and the highest. So I think Jimenez won, like he scored the most goals last season, and they got into the double digits in the whole span of the Eredivisie. I think I forgot the exact goals, but basically the data that I'm seeing is that both Jimenez and De Jong and the striker from AZ Alkmaar, I forgot his name, it's been half of the season that this news was, I saw this back in January, and so in half of the season this year, they were able to do more than they did last year in an entire season. So this is a very, very historic season for De Jong. Jimenez, even though he hasn't been scoring lately, and a lot of the conversation is kind of between the US and the Mexican fans on Twitter is that beef, that constant beef of, Jimenez talking smack about Jimenez, but Jimenez can lay back and still show that he did more this season than he did last year and show that progression. I think from here to the following months, whatever we do get from De Jong and Jimenez and the other striker from AZ Alkmaar, we're already blessed. We're already, very happy with what we're seeing. Of course, we want to see these players prosper, so this is a game where the best players from both teams, from PSV and Feyenoord, have to step up. I do think PSV have everything to take the game, especially being at home, but Feyenoord, if they want to put some pressure onto PSV, if they do want to rebuild that confidence so they can continue their path of putting more consistent pressure and being in the Champions League and competing and continuing to be in really high positions in the Eredivisie, Feyenoord could surprise us this weekend and take that dub. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, ties, draws, whatever you want to call them in this league, are very consistent. So don't be afraid. Don't be disappointed to see a draw in this game. I think that'll probably be very disappointing, but I would expect it. Both teams, especially PSV, I don't know if they're playing this week in Champions League, but they could use, they probably don't want to go all out, especially having such a tight grip of the top of the table. We'll see how that goes. The next match is SC Heerenveen versus PEC Zwolle, as I like to call, I like to make fun of them, Pek Swollen. No. Anyways, 2.0 expected goals versus 1.5 expected goals in favor of the home team. The win probability is 47% versus 29% in favor of the home team. Over 0.5 goals, 84% versus 75%. Could you see both teams to score here in this match in favor of the home team? Over 1.5. I think if we want to see a winner, one of these teams does have to score over 1.5. Maybe the home team, if they're really trying to get that result. We have 57% versus 43%. Moving on, we have Fortuna versus Excelsior. Excelsior, I don't know. They're a team that have been able to get positive results. I really enjoyed seeing their game versus Ajax a couple weeks ago. Against Fortuna is a team that at home tend to have positive results, so I can see why this match simulator spit this out. We have an expected goals of 2.1 versus 1.2. The win probability is in favor for the home team, 56% versus 21%. Over 0.5, 85% versus 67%. Over 1.5 for both of these teams is 60% versus 45%. Maybe Fortuna to score. Add that to a parlay with, Ajax to score, AZ to score, and Twente to score. I don't know. That'd be an interesting one. I don't know what that would get you. The last match of the weekend is Heracles versus Almere City. Almere City is a team that I've been keeping my eye on. Back when I was betting, they were very consistent. They're a very strong team, a solid upper mid-table team. We have the expected goals at 1.5 versus 1.5. Win probability is at 36% versus 39%. Over 0.5, 76% versus 78%. The over 1.5 is at a 42% versus 45%. Again, remember, draws in this league are very popular. Although it's not as strong of a league as the rest of the leagues that are out there in Europe, it's a very entertaining league. There's very strong teams. There's a lot of youth. there's a lot of talent that you can pick up in these teams, and I do believe we can see something positive for PSV, Ajax, Feyenoord, who are top 3 teams, AZ Alkmaar, who is another team that's very strong that I've noticed. Hopefully Ajax can pick it up. PSV, I think for me, they're expected to win the Eredivisie this year. I'm excited to see how that'll wrap up towards the end in the following months. Let me transition over, and yeah, I appreciate you guys for sticking with me to the end of this video. Again, I really enjoy making this content. Hopefully I can stay consistent with you and deliver this type of content that maybe you guys like, maybe you guys don't like, but is missing definitely in the YouTube world, in the soccer world, for all of us that like to bet or like data analytics, whatever it is. You know, we can all sit down, watch this video, and enjoy the content. Maybe in the upcoming videos I'll be able to provide more of the team strength, home and away, show that and how it reflects, maybe provide you guys with behind the scenes of how this spreadsheet works. Regardless, I'm having fun. It's a great day. Enjoy your guys' day, enjoy your weekend, bet responsibly, have fun, enjoy, be in the moment with your loved ones. Peace out.